All right, folks, welcome back to my video series. Well, in this part of the series, I think it's part 8, right? So in this part of the series, we're gonna start to do some interesting stuff with coding. So basically, we are going to look at functions. Okay. Um, what functions are in short, I would say functions are reusable code. It's a code that you can reuse whenever you call it, and then it does whatever that you want it to do, right? Anyway, let me show you a perfect example of what we'll be building, because we'll be building some simple functions today. Probably in the future, maybe we'll do some more complicated ones, to see how powerful coding is. Maybe we'll be solving multiple simultaneous equations using Gaussian elimination, all those kind of stuff. But for now, let's do the simple one, just to pass the idea, just to grab the concept. Okay, so here you've seen functions if you have worked with Excel or any spreadsheet software, right? So for example, here there are many functions, but the ones that we are going to use today is the one for sum. We'll be building that one, okay? Because this one I find it actually will allow us to use the things that we learned in the past, right? So for example, this function summation, right? You can use it to add up data, right? So for example, I want to add all these column B, right, going down like this. Okay, and let's close that. And when I click on enter, wait, so probably there's something that went wrong there. Let's see. Oh, there's a comma there, so let's cancel the comma. Okay, when I click enter, this gives me a total. You see, it gives me a total of this column B. Let's see on column C. As you can see, column B and column C, they are not equal in length, right? So let's go to column C, and again we can use the very same function, right? It's a sum function, and we just click on that column and take all the numbers that we wanted to sum and click correct. You see, saying column C, the total number of those numbers there is 62. And now let's go to average. Okay, for an average, we're gonna do the very same thing. Now this one calculates an average of the data. So we want the average of that particular data. All right, I think yes, I've covered everything. So when I click on this, I can get an average. When I extend this, it should work that side. Okay, this is not like Excel, but yeah. Also here, let's do the average. So as you can see, this is how we use that function, right? We don't have to know what's going on the background normally, but today we are going to look at that, how what's going on behind the scene, when we sum these things. Okay, and click that, and then that gives us, yeah, those are the numbers. Okay, so now let's do this with code. Okay, let's build this function from scratch. Okay, because this average is a function, and that sum, those are functions. Let's go back to our Python, and then let's build this. Okay, so first of all, let's look at those two datas. Okay, I'm gonna call it array 1. That's why I chose this, because it allows us to actually revise on what arrays are, because we did that in I don't know, the previous video. Okay, so let's put in the very same data. So this column B, it will be our array 1, right? Let me just call it array B so that we know what was it. So what was this? It's 5 9 16 33. Hope I'll remember that. 5 9 16 33. 5 9 16 33. Okay, what else? 53 22. 5 3 22 22. Okay, that was the first column. And then array B was it? No, array C, I mean, what was it on column C? Is 4 2 44 12. 4 2 44 12. 4 2 44, wait, 44 and 12. All right, so now we have those two arrays, right? So now we want to build a function of this. So let's call it, let's build it. So the way you do it, you have to start with dif, you know, define a function. You start with that, and after that you name your function. So let's call this because I think the word sum is taken in Python, so let's call my sum. Yes, right? So, and here it takes in an array, this function, as you saw, right, from the previous video. It takes in an array, and what we want to do, we want to loop through that array. So first, let's start by total. Make sure that our total is 0 when we start, right? So the total is 0. Now let's loop through. So for every number in that array, for num in array, right, for each number, so that means I'm going through, let me just write this as an array full. Let's change it there too. Okay, all right. So for num in array, what do we want to do? We want to take that number, add it to total, you know, for each and every number in that particular array. We want to take that and add it to total. And the way you do that, it's simple. You just say total. Okay, you say equals to what's this, total plus num, and right, so this will take the first total here, and this will be 0, right? And the first number, depending on which array, if it's array B, it will take 5, right? Add it to this total, and then it will be 0 plus 5, and then it will give us a total of 5, and then it will loop again. Now the total is 5, right? When it loops for the second time, the total is 5, and then it will take another number there in that array. Maybe if it's array B, it will be what, 9. So it will be 5 plus 9, and then it does that up until it finishes the whole array. Once it's done with that, we want it to return the total to us, right? That's the whole point of this. So we want this to give us the total back. Okay, all right, so let's actually run this and see. Let's use our function. So here now I have, if I click on this right now, it won't do anything, right? Because I haven't called the function. I've only defined it and also defined those arrays, but I haven't called it yet, you know. So let's call it and actually use it here. And the way you do that, you just call your function my sum, all right, and put the the array that you want to calculate. So in this case, let's just say we want it to calculate the array, the array of b, right? The array b. So as you can see, this will calculate that, but again, it won't print it out, right? It won't display on the screen. For us to see the results, we have to say print. Now, this will print it. It's 148. It says it was the total, it's 148. So, and here I'm saying the total is 138. That means there's a number that we didn't put right. So let's check. It's 2253. Yes, as you can see there, I'm having what? 22, 53, 33, 26, 16. It was supposed to be 16, you see? That 26. So let's correct it and make sure that we have the right array. In fact, it's correct even this one. It's just they are not the same. I wanted us to give us the very same answer. Okay, so as you can see now, it's 138, which was the results, right? Okay, so that's what a function is. Now let's define another function. Mind you, here I can just put what the second column, right? Array C, right? Like that, and then it will calculate what? 62, of which was the results there, which means now our function for calculating the summation, it's working. Now I hope you see the magic of this, right? Because for me, in order to actually calculate this, I don't have to rebuild the whole thing. I just call the function and then it does what it actually supposed to do. Now let's look at another example. So right, let's do the function for my average. Yeah, I'm lazy, I'll write it like that. So now this is going to be a function to calculate the second part, of which was the average. Okay, and the way, what's an average? An average is what? The sum of the total numbers, right? You have to sum all those numbers and divide by the number of items in that, right? So in this case, again, we are going to take an array, right? Here for the sum, now I already have a function that calculates the sum. I don't need to build it from scratch again like that, start with total and everything. I can just use my function, and this is where the magic of function comes in. You know, you can just call that function and use it here and give it what? The array, right? This one will give me what? The total. You see, now because I have the function that already calculates the summation, right? That will give me the total. And for you to get how many items are there, right? Number of items, let's call it what? N, for example. Yes, you say that's simple. You just say an array, it's the length of your array. So there's already a built function in Python called len, len, right? It just tells you how many items are inside your array. You give it an array, it will tell you how many items. So you see, this is just, it's a function. The len is a function itself, right? That returns how many number of items are there. So now when we want here, we want what? We want to return the average, and our average is total divide by n. That's it. Now these should calculate the average, you know, but let's see it. So my av, mind you, these you name it whatever you want, right? So in this case, I just named this one my average, but it's advisable to name your functions as things that are easy, that you can read easily what did they do, right? So let's see on this, let's give it array 1, Let's see if it gives us the results. Array A is not defined. Okay, I called it array C. I don't know how come did I say array A here. So it was array supposed to be array C, because we only have array C and array B and C. I mean, so yes, there we go. So this is 23.0. Was that our average? Let's go and check. You see, it was 23. Okay, let's try it with the second array, which is array C. Okay, and that's 15.5. Was it 15.5? That's it. So that's it, guys. That's what functions are, you know. As I said, you know, probably in the future would look at some more advanced stuffs on how to use functions to build amazing stuffs. Maybe calculate your what is it, your solve for x, you know, those simultaneous equations. You know, maybe you're having x and y and a z as part of your equation, and then you want to know those things, you know. Yeah, probably we would look at that, but in this video I wanted it to be simple so that you can grasp the concept, you know. Anyway, let me know how do you find this video. Until next time, cheers.